Hi, I'm Todd with Yakima. Today I'm going to show you the installation process for Yakima's heavy-duty track system for the Jeep Wrangler JK, named RibCage. Let's go over a few quick notes about this system and the installation process. RibCage is a permanent installation requiring minor modifications to the Jeep's roof. RibCage is a supported track system, allowing for the installation of a roof rack or platform rack system, and is capable of handling up to 330 pounds for on or off-road driving. It is also rooftop tent compatible. The Jeep's freedom panels and hardtop remain removable once the system's installed. Before you get started, read all the way through the instructions and make sure you are comfortable with this installation, which does require drilling. Next, make sure you have all of the tools handy from the required tools list. Then lay out your tools and make sure you have shop rags and a shop vac handy for cleanup. Next, lay out all of the parts on your workbench, then inventory the contents against the list found in the instructions. We'll begin in the Jeep's interior. Now that you're ready to go, step 1 is removing the speaker console. This involves first removing the freedom panel knobs, then unscrewing the 6 bolts holding the console in place with a 10mm socket. Once the console is free, carefully lower it down and disconnect the wire from the harness plug. Next, unzip the roll cage covers on the rear supports all the way to the top. On the passenger side, you will see a wire harness. It's pinned to the support with a plastic plug. Using a plastic pry tool, carefully unseat the plug so the wire harness can hang loose. Locate the front left internal support marked with an FL on it. Make sure the bottom plates can slide freely like this. Also make sure the vertical adjustment screws are loose enough for the upper support to move freely on the lower. Open the rear driver's side door and locate the mounting hole in the roll cage and roll cage cover. Position the front left internal support on top of the roll cage with the rear mounting hole, which contains the M8 nut, over the roll cage's mounting hole. Insert the M8 mounting bolt with a ferrule and thread it into the internal support and partially tighten. Adjust the support left to right until it's aligned with the channel in the roof. Then tighten the mounting bolt. Now push the upper portion of the support against the roof, holding it there firmly, and tighten the height adjustment screws with the supplied Torx wrench. Repeat this process for the passenger side using the support marked FR. Set up your drill with a fresh 1/4 inch bit. Use the supplied drill stop to set the bit for about a 1/2 inch of drill depth. Locate the rearmost hole in the upper part of the front internal support. Keeping the drill stop with the smaller end toward the end of the drill bit, carefully drill a hole using the internal support as a guide. Do not drill through the front hole. I repeat, do not drill through the front hole. Now drill the rear hole on the passenger side. These will be your location points for marking the remaining holes to be drilled. Locate and install the internal support end caps. Place the tracks on the roof, locate the first hole indicators inside of the tracks, and align that with the holes you just drilled. Be sure the forward arrows are pointing towards the front of the vehicle. Grab an M5 bolt and a rectangular washer, bolt your tracks to the roof through the first holes. Snug the bolts up with the supplied wrench, but do not fully tighten. Align the tracks on top of the roof's ribs. Using a measuring tape, make sure the distances between the track at the front and rear are equal. Note, due to inconsistencies of the roof manufacturing, you may find the tracks do not perfectly align with the ribs or sit on the exact same part of the ribs left to right. This is normal, but it's very important that the tracks are parallel to one another. Using a silver marking pen, mark the remaining holes using your tracks as a template. Remove the single M5 bolts in your tracks and remove the tracks. Remove the M8 internal support mounting bolts and the front internal supports and set them on your workbench. Switch the drill stop around so the wide end is toward the end of the bit, and drill your remaining holes you just marked from the outside. Vacuum up the swarf from the top of the roof and the inside of the vehicle. Locate and install the little rubber grommets in the bottom of your tracks, keeping the wide end toward the bottom. Reinstall the front internal supports, leaving the M8 bolts slightly loose so the supports are held in place but are movable. Make sure the holes in the upper support are aligned with the holes in your roof. Now reinstall your tracks. Put a little of the supplied sealant around each hole on the outside of the roof before you lay the tracks back in place. It may be helpful to have the first hole bolt pre-installed in the tracks to help align everything. Install all remaining track mounting bolts, being sure to skip the second and third holes from the rear. Use the cap nuts on the inside where there are no internal supports. Do not fully tighten the track mounting hardware at this point. There are 4 rectangular washers that go on the ends. They will insert slightly into the track's end caps. Move to the rear of the vehicle and install the rear internal support lower brackets onto the roll cage's rear supports using the supplied M6 bolts. Using the remaining M5 track mounting hardware, bolt the rear internal supports to the roof. It's very important that the upper part of the support is pointing the correct direction. The end of the upper ball joint housing with the clipped corners needs to face the rear of the vehicle. Next, grab a 17mm open end wrench and loosen the jam nut on the strut. Rotate the strut to lower or raise the lower support bracket until it aligns with the lower support bracket. If the upper ball stud is rotating when you rotate the strut, put a 10mm open end wrench on the flat spots of the upper ball stud. Using the short M8 bolts, bolt the internal support to the bracket you installed to the roll cage. Once that's done, retighten the jam nut. Fully tighten all track mounting hardware and the front internal support bolt to full torque. Re-zip the roll bar covers over the rear supports as far as the zipper can go, then use the supplied soft covers to close up the remaining area of the roll bar cover. Reinstall your speaker console. Don't forget to plug your wiring harness back in and install the mounting bolts to manufacturer's specified torque. It will be helpful to have a friend hold the console in place while you get the first few bolts started. That's it for the install of the rib cage for JK 4-door Wranglers. You are now ready to put your towers and crossbars or lock and load platform and get up to some serious adventure. Thanks for watching.